everybody, welcome to Nomad Outdoors Ice Fishing Gear Up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my ice fishing bucket and show you what I've used. I think the first time I got out on the ice was sometime around 1980, give or take, and I probably still got the fishing rods I got back then. So let's go through the bucket here and see. Alright, there you go. Here's a Christmas gift to me back in 1980. My first fishing rod, ice fishing rod. And you can see it's got a very simple setup on it with the spool and some fancy colored line. And with these reels, all you need to do is loosen up the little screw right there and loosen up my screw. Okay, and that's what allows you to spin the rod, or you just lock it down like this, and that'll keep the spool from turning, and you don't have to worry about any line going out. Kind of a longer ice fishing rod. Be good for out on the, when you're sitting out, when you're not in a shanty. When you want a shanty, you want them shorter rods, so to speak. Now, there's another one. I think maybe what I did was I stole this from my brother and scratched off his name and put down my own. Sorry about that, Brian. And what I've got on this one, you can see this is the same basic reel setup, a little bit shorter rod. And what we've got on here is what you call a teardrop. Can you see that good? I don't know if you can see that or not. A little teardrop on there, and on that you'll affix what we call a mousey or a wiggler, which is it's not a live mouse. So you ladies in the audience, you need to simmer down. It's not, we wouldn't do, I would if I would catch something, but it won't work. Which is just like a little small, about the size of a maggot, is a mousey. Picture if you will a maggot with a tail on it. Mousey, there you go. And then a wiggler is pretty much what you would expect. Figure a what do you call them little things with a whole bunch of legs? Centipedes, or mother-in-laws. And it's in one of those, but in water. And that's where you go. You put one on the end of that. I can't resist them. And then what you've got here is a slip bobber that's held on simply by a couple little rubber bands sliding on the end of that little thing right there, and you can slide it all up and down the line any which way you'd want. And the nice part about these reels, they give you a little hole on the end, hook the hook right in there, keep everything together when you got it all bopping around inside your bucket. We'll get to that in a second. Oh, here's another rod, very similar to the one I just showed you. The only difference being on here, you got a little spring that sets off the. Oop, get up, get. Hey, come on, work. Don't fight me. Don't. There we go. Right. Now look. All right. So there. See. Now you got a little spring action. Notice there's no bobber on here. You sink this one down in, and what you'll do is you'll just watch that tip right there. Can you see me? That's it, to bob up and down. All right. All right. So there you go. There's a couple of the older, getting it to be a little newer. This is broke. Don't use that. Put that over here. Here's a little more fancy schmancy with a reel on it. It's like a regular fishing rod. Just no casting with this one, but essentially it's the same thing. It's an open-faced reel. And on this one we've got another. It's still just a little teardrop sort of spoon, except on the back of it it's got dimpled. You can see on there to kind of attract it. And these little beads, you can get them in any color you want, of course, and they kind of resemble a fish egg. So you can add a mousey or a wiggler to that, or even just go without. And just that, you notice there's no bobber on there, and what you'll do is you'll just drop that down and jig it. Jig it, just like this, and feel the tension with your hand, and then set the hook and reel the line in. If you had a bobber and you're 10 feet down in water, your bobber's going to get caught up in the rod guides, and that's not going to do any good. Alright, so, what the hell did my tape get in there? Alright. More stuff. You're ice fishing, you're thinking to yourself, you put a hole in the ice and that's great, but doesn't that freeze back over? Well, sure it does, but that's what we have this here for. You just skim that right off the top, zippity-doo, and then shoot it out the shanty or out somewhere in your buddy's hole, so to speak, whatever you want. Get that out. How do you get out there? I'll tell you one thing you can't get, well you can, but you're not going to have a good time. You need to have ice creepers. couple of different. Here's just a cheaper set. I usually would make my kids wear those because they don't weigh nearly as much as I do, and if they fall on the ice, it's just good fun for them. Me, I need these big Arctic spurs. They're not too much, unless you drop one on your foot. And this goes around the heel of your boot and over the top of your boot. And basically, when you're walking across that slick ice, you got them sharp prongs. Go on down there, I don't care. In your feet. This is the thing that should be on the cover of my my auger to cover up the sharp blades, and obviously it's not. So that's not doing me any good. What else do we got in here? Here's your little basically your tackle box. This is my catch whatever you want with this. Here we've got it all. We've got probably one of the most important things. They say, well, how do you know how far down you want your lure to be? Because you could walk 100 yards out on the ice, or you could walk a half mile out on the ice. Well, you get out there and what you do is you clip this thing here, this little weight, onto your, here, look at you. You clip, I think you're, no, okay, there's nothing in there. You clip this onto your weight just like such. Good enough. And then lower it down in the hole. Lower it down, and the whole time you're raising that bobber. Raising it, raising it, raising it, raising, river raising. You get to the bottom, and then you want to lift up about another foot, and that's where you'll set your bobber. So now you know your lure's about a foot off the bottom of the lake, which is where most of the time you'll find your fish. And you can lower it up and down and try to find out where the fish are schooling at. So in here we have different types of bobbers. Just slip right on there, and I like these old-fashioned ones. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because all it takes is a toothpick. You just put the line right through the little hole and put a toothpick in it, and you're fishing. That's all there is to it. Simple, easy breezy. Now, then you've got your lures. Now we talked about the kind you've got, which is I'm mostly teardrops. I'm not into too many Rapalas. Here's some of those ones I showed you with the little, they come in every little fancy combination you can think of. We got, I don't know, you got orange, I'm giving away all my secrets. You got orange and chartreuses and reds and pinks and more colors than, well, it's not making you disparaging remarks. Let's just say there's plenty of colors. You're not just going to stand out there on the ice, are you? No, of course not. And this bucket is multi-purpose, because not only are you going to put all of your rods in it and all your other gear, but we've cut a hole in the top. Now notice there's enough area left for your keister to set upon. And then when you catch a fish, what do you do with it? Now some people like to just throw it on the ice. If you're going to keep it, you can just throw it on the ice. I suppose that's fine, but then they're going to get stuck there and you got to get them out. Better throw them right there in the bucket. Those of you who have significant others, you may or may not want to bring the bucket in the house. I highly recommend that you wash the bucket, however. So, yeah, hold on. Hello? Let's film the ice fishing show. I don't know, I just went through my rods and whatnot. Well, yeah, don't put the fish on the ice. I told him that, yeah. I ever tell you about the, you know what? I know where you're up at. Did I ever tell you about, now this is interesting to you. I tell you about the time a guy turned a 12-gauge shotgun shell to $1 million career? No, it's not him. This is back like 86, 87. And it's around here, a guy around here. Well, from Macomb County, but goes turkey hunting in the fall season, shoots himself a 32-pound turkey, 54.5-inch beard. 54.5. I know how long it is. It got tripped up over itself. That's how he was able to take it. Anyway, so he freezes the turkey. It's the fall season. Come ice fishing season, he goes out to Anchor Bay, because that's where we all, Macomb County folk, you know, St. Clair County, going out there to Anchor Bay. And he doesn't do like you and I would normally do. He builds a special tip up, because he's got big things. This guy's an achiever. That's how you make $1 million career. He's an achiever. He builds a tip up out of 6x6 womanized lumber. No, 6x6. Yeah, I know how big that is. 6 feet long, right? Okay. He gets the rim, 20-inch rim off a 1977 Chevy Nova, and he spools, I had a Nova, I know what I'm talking about, and he spools for fishing line 13 miles worth of military grade paracord onto this reel. That's what he's going to use for the reel, right? So he's got this tip up, and the pole was a 30-foot aluminum flag pole, and he used the latch and the hood spring off a Ford F-150 truck, you know, for the hood. And then he puts an American flag, because we was on the American side, you know, of the pond. So he puts an American flag up on the top there. And then, so he's got this turkey, and he gets a turkey out, and he's going to use this turkey for bait, and it's frozen, so he knows it'll last a while. And he used one of them, he used a treble hook. It'll make trouble. He used one of them, you know, those grappling hooks that they use. Who use mountain climbers and ninjas? They're always, yeah, he uses one of those, right? So he lets the line out. It took him 2 days just to get the line out to where he knew the fish were, because he knew what kind of, I'll tell you in a minute what kind of fish we're talking about here, right? So he gets the tip up, set out, right? 3 days go by, wham! American flag up in the air, just like that, right? He goes to check the line. It's a monster, okay? A monster. Starts to reel in it. No, he did not reel it in by hand. He used a garage door opener. He had a garage door opener, and he put one of them Deep Cycle Marine batteries on there. He went through 16 batteries before he could even get this thing in. Takes him a day and a half. People are coming as far south as Warren to come see what is going on out here, right? He gets it big. It's a sturgeon. Biggest ever caught in the state of Michigan on a turkey, is what they're saying, right? He's pulling the sturgeon through the hole. Halfway through the hole, it's stuck. He can't get it's how big this thing is. Well, they're prehistoric. You know that, right? You've seen the television show. He can't get it through the hole. So he's pulling, and the next thing you know, eggs start shooting. It's a female. It's filled with eggs, and eggs start, they're spraying everywhere. Yeah, sturgeon. It's caviar, right? Caviar is every place. So he takes his 5-gallon bucket, he gets these guys 5-gallon buckets, he starts filling them up like it's going out of style. He gets 23 5-gallon buckets, okay, and empties the fish. And then when there's no more eggs in the fish comes on through the hole, and they weigh it and measure it and let it go, because it's catch and release, right? So, well, yeah, they had to let it go. So he takes the buckets. He takes the buckets, the 23 5-gallon buckets, down to Detroit to some fancy schmancy French restaurant, and he sells them all, and he makes enough money for what? I'll give you one guess. No, hockey lessons. Hockey lessons. Does that help you? From Macomb County Hockey Lessons. You know who that man is? Darian Hatcher. Former Detroit Red Wing turned hockey town legend. True story. No, I'm not making that. How do I make this up? Hello? Hello? What? Hello? No, I'm not making it up. Did you hang up on me? What do you mean, how did the turkey go upstream? You don't remember back in the 80s, that El Nino out of the west, that weather system that had everything all messed up? How could you not even remember that? I can't even. Who am I talking to? Oh, hi, Mom. Oh, no, I was telling Mike about that. Did I ever tell you about that guy who turned a... Hello? Hello? Jeez Louise. You know, you try to educate people, and this is thanks you get. I don't even know.